welcome to the Colac Herald Sports Match, Colac District's highest rating online sports show. My name is Ben Martin. With me, as always, is Alex Baird. Alex, welcome.
Thanks, Ben. We had an upset, a close game, and some dominant victories in netball this weekend, so I'm looking forward to talking about that later on.
Some exciting results in the football as well, so without further ado, we'll get straight into the Geelong Football League action, where the Colac Tigers have downed Bell Park. They won a third straight game to sneak back into the top five, the Tigers, in this one. They're sitting fifth at the moment, so great work to Paul Lynch and his boys. They won this one 21-8, 134 to 8-17, 65 down in Geelong. Jake McGuan kicked 7 goals while Jake Carney kicked 5, so they're just really combining well up forward. The best players for the Tigers: Alex Adams, Mikey Buchanan, Caden Newton, Jake McGuan, Kane Smart and Andrew Kelly, while the best player for Bell Park was Tim Sheringham. In a similar story, we'll cross into the Colac District Football League now, where Elvie has also jumped back into the top 5 after a shock win against Birregurra. I say shock win because Birregurra took some pretty good form into this one, while Elvie is coming off a couple of losses themselves. But they bounced back into form with a 12-10, 82 to 3-8, 26 win at Elvie Recreation Reserve. Dylan Lowe kicked 4 goals for the winners, while their best were Liam McGaughan, Andre De Lorenzo and the ruckman Jared Crooks. While for Birregurra, they had 3 players who kicked 1 goal each, and their best player was the veteran Luke Phillips in his first game back from injury, Jack Melican and the recruit Lockie Hill. The next game now, Colac Imperials have defeated Apollo Bay 18-13, 121 to 13-7, 85. Bo Fenton kicked 4 goals for the winners, while their best player was Kyle Roberts. For Apollo Bay, Casey McDonald kicked 5 goals in a best on ground performance, while other good players for Hawks were Damien Condon in his first game back from injury. Illawarra Biak has won its 4th game of the season and kept to keep in touch with the top 5. They defeated Otway District 16-16, 112 to 9-3, 57. Sam Barron kicked 4 goals for the Bombers, while their best player was Lockie Dullard. For the Demons, Michael Moose Gray kicked 3 goals and their best player was Rich Tucker in defence. The next game, Simpson is 2 games clear on top after a 10-9, 69 to 9-6, 60 win against Forest. Jono Jennings kicked 4 goals in a best on ground performance, while Joel Hayward was also good for the Tigers, while Adam Wells kicked 3 goals for the Lions and their best was Danny McGill. The final game of the football at the weekend, South Colac has had a comprehensive win against the Western Eagles 28-17, 185 to 4-4, 28. Ben Cox kicked 11 goals for the Roos in a best on ground performance, while Tom Whitecross was good for the Roos. And finally, for the Western Eagles, Mark Shaw kicked 2 goals for the Eagles, and their best player was a big fella, Matthew Stassi. So well done to the Roos there, and that wraps things up for the football. I'll now pass you over to Alex with the netball.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Look, start with Geelong netball. The Tigers, they lost another game, but they had a gallant performance. They were pretty undermanned. They went in the game without Emma Hillman, their skipper, and lost Talia Jeffries to a knee injury. Not sure what it is yet, but hopefully not too bad for the young defender. But without the pair, they still put up a good performance. They lost 42-53. Maddie Allen had a strong game in attack and netted 13 goals, alongside Gabby Rennett, who scored 29, which is a good effort from her. Brooke Allen had a key role in defence, and Shelley Scott had another consistent performance in the mid-court for the Tigers. Over to Colac and District netball, and as I mentioned before, top 3 sides, they all had dominant victories, but there was a few good upsets as well. The Elvie and Birregurra game was a close one, a 1-goal game actually, and Birregurra just got over the line 36-35. In goals, Mercedes Hickey was good for the Swans, netting 20, while Georgia Robinson, in her first game back since round 4, scored 11 in the second half. For Birregurra, Cassie Spoke scored 23 and she had a great game, while Dallas Williamson was best on court for the Swans, and Simone Smith had a great game for the Saints. In other games, Simpson got over the line 82-9 against Forest, but it was good to see Forest back on the court after a weekend off. Best for the Tigers was Georgie Rook, while Jess Manane had a solid game for the Lions. In goals, Renee Seebeck netted 5 for Forest, while Jessie Hawkins had a best on court display with 42 goals. Moving over to a rematch of last season's preliminary final, and South Colac were too strong for Western Eagles, winning 65 to 34. Tegan McNamara had a great game of goals, netting a game high 35, while Hadley Fiddler scored 18 for the Eagles. Best for South Colac was Tegan's sister Nadine McNamara, and Ali Janelle had a solid game for the Irrawillippi Bay side. Colac Imperials just were too good for Apollo Bay, winning 66-46. Cass Spears was good for the Hawks in goals with 33 goals, while Beck's got 56 out of 66, which isn't bad for the Cats. Best for Apollo Bay was Joey Belitho, while Rhiannon Whitson had a great game in defence. And the final match of Colac and District Netball was a good one for Otway Districts. They won their first ever game against Illawarra Biak since its inception back into Colac District Netball. So great game for the girls. Mariana Vickers had a best on court display with 26 goals, while Courtney Garner was also solid for the Bombers in goals with 24. Taylor Learson was their best with 20 goals as well, and that wraps up netball, Ben, so another interesting week.
That's it, and that wraps things up for us here on the Sports Match as well. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you keep an eye on all the Colac District sporting news with Wednesdays and Fridays Colac Herald, and we'll see you next time.